let's talk about from the very beginning. Where were you born, and what was your upbringing like?
I was born in San Francisco, 1973, Mount Zion Hospital, Fillmore, on Divisadero Street. I was born November 8th. For whatever reason, the next day they kicked my mama out the hospital.
Really?
And I was in Martin Luther King Projects. They call it KO right now, Eddy Street. And that's my very beginning.
Really?
Getting kicked out the hospital.
While you were being born, she was evicted.
No, after she had me, the next day, for whatever reason, she was at the house across the street from the hospital.
Holy shit.
That's how it begins. That's how it begins. So when you say how did it begin, drama out the beginning.
Turbulence from the very beginning.
From the very beginning, man.
Okay. And so you describe your childhood. What was it like besides that?
I just want to say it's basic. You feel me? Pops, had another plan, moved on. Mom's, taking care of me, my brother, my sister. My early upbringing was, of course, a lot of bike riding, backflipping. Backflipping was popular back then. Like,
Just standing backflips?
Backflipping off a car, backflipping off the first floor, at the park, at the top of the, so that was the beginning stages of something that you get credit for that I could remember in my young life. Like,
First,
whoever know how to
developing
backflip,
clout through something.
Through something you know how to do. Yes, sir.
When you
Yes,
have
sir.
nothing, people will still find ways to differentiate themselves from everybody else.
That's right. That's right. So the next phase was the bikes, the BMX bikes.
I rode BMX bikes
the
for many years, yeah.
GTs, the Mongoose, the Red Line. That was exciting.
Do you have any tricks, wheelies?
I wasn't that good, but I was good at putting them together.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. So that was the next phase of my status in the neighborhood. From there, I would say the life of being outside at 13, 14, being able to sell drugs and get introduced into how to make some money, that was the next phase. But music was part of that, them early stages. Just the 50-year hip-hop, my first interaction with the music, Run DMC. That's the very beginning. Somebody brought a tape to elementary school. And when I got that tape, the music started to impact me because I'm like, yo, I'm a kid, but I'm like, this is exciting to us. Something called rap.
Right.
A different type of music.
But when did you start selling drugs, and how long were you doing it before you got into the music?
The selling drugs part, I never was good. Because, I never made it. I mean, even as a youth, there's youth that have monetized the dope game into some real business. But for me, as soon as I make $1,000, $2,000, I want to buy bike parts, or I want to buy the Nintendos or Segas or something. So it was wasted. That learning how to sell drugs was, I think,
it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. But what I learned from it was you got to buy something for this price,
right, and
then double your money by getting out here.
Right.
So that same concept, that's how I got the music. That's how I got into the music at 14. While I was doing my little street stuff, going to Pier 39, I recorded 6 songs. This is 1988.
And Pier 39 is like a local studio?
Pier 39 is like a amusement dock. It's right on the water. It's a little place with video games, food, and you could pay $20 and go in the studio. And when people walk by, they had the mic booth right there. They had the lyrics for you to sing any of the popular rap music.
Oh, okay.
So I went in there and spent $20 per song. I did 6 songs. I'll never forget. I spent $120.
Which at the time was a lot.
Was very much a lot.
Right.
And I was rapping over Parents Don't Understand. I was rapping over Run DMC, Walk This Way, LL Cool J, I Need Love. These were songs that was on TV, but you could pay the money and they'd play the instrumental, and you could either say their lyrics or say your own. So that was my beginning stages of freestyle because I didn't say their lyrics. I just was making up songs. I had my homies with me, and that's the beginning of me wanting to be an artist. At 14, I recorded 6 songs. They had these radios called Panasonic decks. And back then, it was 2 cassette tapes. So you could put your cassette tape in here, and then you could give me your blank and put it in this side, and I could high-speed record my 6 songs.
If there's any young people watching this, just don't forget how lucky you are to be able to record something on your phone or off your computer or whatever. Because think about how much work you were having to put in to just get a recording of anything.
To just get a recording, and then I had to buy this radio that you could walk with the 2 speakers and the 2 tape decks, and that's how I was able to get my music out as a kid. I didn't realize I was doing manufacturing and distribution. I didn't realize that. But if you fast forward from 1988 to 1990, I got locked up as a, they took me from my mom as a, what they call it, you a ward of the state. I had went to juvenile too many times, so I got locked up for a year.
Before we do the jail stuff, can I just ask, how foreign was it or how new was it to be rapping on the West Coast? Because I remember interviewing Too Short and him basically telling me that he was like the first West Coast rapper, and that the West Coast was kind of slow to catch up because you're talking about Run DMC, and like hip hop was so from New York that it took a while for the West Coast to catch up. Did it stand out to you at the time, like that it would be a very strange turn of events?
As a teenager recording them songs in 1988, Too Short was officially platinum with Don't Fight the Feeling. Him and Rappin' Forte, who happens to be from Fillmore,
legend.
That is what tied me to the industry, by Rappin' Forte, somebody from my neighborhood, from San Francisco, on a song with somebody from Oakland. And not only is he from Oakland, Too Short got a deal with Jive Records. So that song, Don't Fight the Feeling, that went platinum. And that's what made me feel, because I always knew the New York, they run the music. It wasn't really till 88, 80, 89 when NWA, when they got on the scene, there was artists before NWA, but from like an independent perspective and from a perspective of like this new sound of music is just pure thug, the police, shoot the, sell the dope, just blatantly, but over dope beats. That's when I think that's what also was fueling me, by listening to that music. Too Short had came out in 1984. Of course, I was just a super little kid, but hearing his stories talking about, I made songs where I put everybody's name in it, and then I go record it and come back, and I didn't put all these big time dope dealers and pimps and popular people in my neighborhood. I put their names in the songs, and that's how I began to get popular fast.
Right.
And selling my stuff out the trunk, because people would hear these popular guys like, whoa, this rapper got a tape out, but he talking about the neighborhood and the people. So I seen Too Short do that. I did that in Fillmore, where I went and named all the popular people I can name on my first
right, because I think I remember Too Short talking about having that same technique of like getting everybody in the neighborhood to fuck with it by just putting them in the songs.
Yes, man. That is what I learned as a young child. I recognized when I heard that story, that's what gave me the drive to want to record with other artists and network with these people over here and go over here, because the more connections, the better.
Right.
The more connections, the better.